Hi again, everyone, and thank you for joining me on another segment of the Pick 3. We had two major Kentucky Derby prep races last Saturday, the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct and the Santa Anita Derby in California. And out of those two races, there's three horses specifically I want to bring up as we are less than 1 month out from the Kentucky Derby. Let's start with the Wood Memorial, and the winner, Wicked Strong, at 9-1, pulls off a mild upset in the race over Samrat and Social Inclusion. Wicked Strong returning to New York after going 0 for 2 down at Gulfstream Park in Florida. And Wicked Strong has run well at Aqueduct before. You go back to the Remsen in November, he was a good closing third in that race to Honor Code and Cairo Prince, and then he went down to Gulfstream and went 0 for 2. So the big question mark with Wicked Strong is, can he transfer his New York form to Louisville, Kentucky? If he can do that, he is a big-time player in the run for the Roses, but he went 0 for 2 in Florida. How will he handle running out of state yet again? I will say that 1.25 miles should not be a problem for him. I think he will relish more ground, and as a closer, that will play well for him in the Kentucky Derby, a race that is usually hot on the front end. We could see a pace breakdown in the stretch, and that could benefit closers such as Wicked Strong. Also wanted to bring up the third place finisher in the Wood Memorial, and that was Social Inclusion. This was his first Grade 1 race, really taking a jump up in class after defeating Honor Code soundly in an allowance race at Gulfstream Park. He also set a track record down there in the process. There was so much hype around this horse, and he was heavily bet in the Wood, breaking from that extreme outside post position. He does gain 20 points with the third place finish, but that might not be enough to get him in the starting gate for the Derby. But I actually think that's a good thing for this horse going forward. I hope he shows up in the Preakness and some other big-time races for the 3-year-olds beyond the Triple Crown Trail, because he is an extremely talented horse. He could have a big say in this division. And I'll say this, if he doesn't go to the Derby and goes to the Preakness, the Kentucky Derby winner will face a stern test in Social Inclusion at Pimlico. And lastly, I wanted to mention California Chrome, winner of the Santa Anita Derby. It was his 4th straight win. He won the San Felipe 2-back, and then he won the Santa Anita Derby in convincing fashion. And I'll say this, we finally have a Kentucky Derby favorite. We look for some clarity in prep season, what horse or what couple of horses will separate themselves from the rest of the 3-year-olds. Well, we finally got our answer with California Chrome in the Santa Anita Derby. How will he handle coming all the way east to Louisville, Kentucky remains to be seen, but we know this, that California Chrome will be a deserving favorite in the Kentucky Derby. Thank you so much for watching this edition of the Pick 3, and best of luck at the track.